What do you think when you hear the term career politician? It's usually used to describe someone so entrenched in politics they've forgotten why they ran for office in the first place, to serve the people. Lamar Alexander says he's never forgotten that, despite the many changes he's seen in 4 decades of public service to Tennessee.
I, Lamar Alexander,
do solemnly swear.
Lamar Alexander has a resume not many could match.
that I will perform with fidelity,
2-term governor of Tennessee,
so help me God.
Congratulations, sir.
president of the University of Tennessee, U.S. Secretary of Education, 3-term United States Senator. So what's next?
Well, I'm going to turn the page and go to the next chapter and see what it's like. You know, I heard someone say about a basketball player one time, if he quit trying so hard and let the game come to him, he'd be a better basketball player. So maybe I'll quit trying so hard and let life come to me and see what it's like.
Alexander will have that chance in January when he retires from public life. It's a political career that started in the early 70s behind the scenes in the Nixon administration. Then in 1978, Alexander famously walked more than 1,000 miles across the state to make his case to be governor. He took office in 1979 and won re-election 4 years later. In 2002, he ran for Senate to replace outgoing Republican Fred Thompson, and he's been there ever since.
Have you had time to reflect at all yet on your 18 years as senator?
I've thought back further than that. I've thought back 40 years to the time I became governor, and I think particularly about how Tennessee has changed there. You know, for example, we had no auto industry. Now the General Motors plant's the largest GM plant in the world, and Nissan's the biggest one in North America, and a third of our manufacturing jobs are auto jobs. So I see us with better roads, better schools, higher incomes, more sense of pride over the last 40 years.
Alexander says he has a sense of pride over his work in Washington, building a reputation as a bipartisan statesman, willing to work across the aisle. But you may be surprised to hear how he describes it.
In the Senate, you're more or less a parade organizer. You're working with, you're picking the music and picking the route and recruiting the marchers and heading in a direction. But the parades I've liked the best are the Songwriters Bill, which has meant that lots of songwriters are getting paid now for their work. The Great American Outdoors Act, people have been trying to pass that for 50 years, literally, to help our parks.
Despite his accomplishments, Alexander has faced harsh criticism from Democrats for not speaking out more against some of President Trump's perceived gaffes and mistakes these past 4 years, especially those tweets.
Well, my job, the way I see it, is to support the president elected by the American people to help our country succeed. I did that with President Obama. My job is not really to give a running commentary on President Obama's liberal policy or President Trump's behavior. My job is to help the president succeed where I can and to vote against him when I have to.
As Senator Alexander prepares to leave Washington after more than 20 years, I asked him why it appears the country is so deeply divided. He doesn't blame any person or party, but rather technology and social media.
Well, what mainly happened is this iPhone device that was invented in 2008 that's created an internet economy, internet democracy. I mean, when Abraham Lincoln got mad and wrote a hot letter, he just put it in the drawer, and after about a week, he forgot it. Today, if you're president and you get mad, you tweet it out, and 72 million people see it, and then they tweet out what they think, and it creates this great environment of extremes in which we have to work.
Alexander says he and his wife, Honey, will move back to East Tennessee. He may write a book, and he'll definitely get back to playing the piano. His advice for his successor, Bill Hagerty?
My advice is this. It's hard to get here in the United States Senate. It's hard to stay here. And while you're here, you might as well try to accomplish something good for the country.
Just yesterday, Senator Alexander joined 3 other Republicans urging President Trump to accept defeat and move forward with the transition. In part, he said, quote, "My hope is that President Trump will take pride in his considerable accomplishments, put the country first, and have a prompt and orderly transition to help the new administration succeed."